Standing here today outside the House of Parliament is intentional. We are here because this is where decisions are made, where strategies are set, and where responsibility must be taken. It is the right place for us to bring the voices of our young people, their families and our communities. Voices that must be heard at the very heart of power. I want to begin by thanking Marcus Lipton Community Enterprise, your staff, your management team and the Brixton community for welcoming us so warmly over the past few days. The visit has been about listening, sharing and building solidarity between Glasgow and Brixton, and it is only right that we now bring the lessons we have learned to the very heart of political power. In March this year, Amin, a 15-year-old who attended our youth groups, tragically lost his life in violent circumstances. In the immediate aftermath, we were overwhelmed by emotions and it was difficult to find a way forward. At that time, there was no clear guidance to help us navigate such a profound loss. Providing leadership from my team was my immediate concern. I knew they were carrying their own shock and grief while still being looked to for strength and support. Very quickly, Amin's friends from youth group made their way to our centre, needing somewhere familiar and safe where they could come together, find comfort and begin to make sense of what had happened. His family also arrived with relatives travelling from across the UK to be close to one another and to honour Amin's memory. All of this was happening while we were assisting with the police inquiry, working to de-escalate tensions and still trying to operate our usual diary of activities, groups and services. With the blessing of Amin's father, we took on the responsibility of handling the press. It was important to us and to him that the story did not lose sight of the most painful truth. A child had lost his life. Amin's story is not just a Glasgow story. It is being lived here in London and communities across the UK. The tragedies are felt locally, and it is local people who carry the pain. But the responsibility for change cannot be left with communities alone. That responsibility must be national. I was keenly aware that in those early days we were reacting on instinct without any clear structure to guide us. I am not saying this was wrong, but I did worry that instinct alone might not be enough in circumstances as difficult as these. To address this, we reached out to other community-based charities seeking guidance and solidarity. The response from Marcus Lipton was immediate and powerful. From the very first conversation, it was clear they understood exactly what we were facing. This marked the beginning of a dynamic and meaningful relationship between our two organisations. We quickly came to realise that, although based at opposite ends of the country, we are facing the same systemic challenges. These challenges often result in behaviours that can lead to tragedy. What is required is action at a structural level, long-term investment, political will that extends beyond election cycles, and coordinated support that brings together statutory services, policymakers and communities. Only with this level of commitment can we hope to break the cycles that place young people at risk. Our partnership has shown that, though separated by distance, our communities face the same realities and the same risks. It has also shown us the power of connection. We stand united here at Parliament to say clearly that the time for piecemeal, short-term responses is over, and the time for lasting, joined-up solutions must begin. We are here today to set out our four asks that we need both UK and Scottish governments to commit to in full. Our first ask: leadership and responsibility. Strategies to address violence affecting young people already exist, but they will not succeed unless those delivering on the front line are meaningfully involved. We are asking policymakers to establish a dedicated resource that meets directly and regularly with grassroots organisations. This resource should act as the official liaison between community organisations and the central policy teams, ensuring strategies are informed by lived experience, not just theory. Its role must be to listen, to share new insights, to understand emerging needs, and to ensure that statutory services and policymakers are working in step with communities. We do not need government to simply give us funding and step away. We need them on the field with us, we need their expertise, we need their authority, and we need their resources. Our second ask: a public health approach. Violence affecting young people must be treated as a public health issue. This means focusing on prevention, addressing trauma, poverty and inequality, and intervening early rather than reacting after harm has been done. A coordinated multi-agency approach must be taken, one that reduces the risk and strengthens the resilience at every stage of a young person's life. Our third ask, sustained investment. Short-term politically motivated pilot projects have little lasting impact. Our young people deserve better. We are calling for long-term, properly resourced investment that creates stability, hope and opportunity. Community organisations cannot plan for meaningful change on one-year funding cycles. We need 5 to 10-year commitments that allow us to build programmes which grow with young people and make a genuine difference in their lives. Our fourth ask, a national framework locally driven. We call for a national framework on violence affecting young people that sets clear standards, secures resources and provides consistent commitment across the UK. Crucially, that framework must give local communities the power and authority to design and deliver their own strategies tailored to their own realities. Those closest to the issues must be trusted to shape the responses. I want to return to where this began, with Amin. His life, his presence in our youth groups and the pain of his loss are at the heart of why we are here today. We carry his memory with us and we owe it to him and to every young person to work tirelessly for a future where safety, opportunity and hope are not the exception but the norm. Through the connections we have built, the voices we have raised together and the determination we share, we can influence structural change that is needed to ensure that no young life is cut short by violence. That is the task before us, and it is one we must and will face together with determination and resolve. We thank those who have listened, but listening is not enough. We are calling for leadership, accountability and real commitment. The lives of our young people depend on it, their futures depend on it, and we will not stop calling for change until that change is delivered.
My name is Wayne James. I'm the new Managing Director at ML Community Enterprise, operators of Marcus Lipton Youth Club. And as many of you will know, we've been in our community supporting young people and their families for generations. We've shared experiences with Kingsway and their young people. And over the last few days, we've learned that not only are things similar, but our work settings and the pressures on us as organizations are also very similar. We share a commitment and a vision to support young people, not just in our own local areas, but nationally across this country. And that's what brings us together to stand in front of you. I echo everything that Leni has said about the expectations and this work, and so I won't repeat those 4 asks, but what I will add is this. We've been doing this work now for a very long time, and we've had the opportunity to walk down the path towards solutions, working with our local statutory partners, the police, the council, schools, and we've built very strong relationships along the way. So we have an understanding as to what works and how to solve this problem for the long term. And so it's very important for us that we share this information wide, because it seems there's a number of misconceptions, and I want to try and clear some of them up. First of all, the idea that this is a problem that affects some members of society or those people, I think is one of the most scary misconceptions, because it's absolutely not true. There is no them in this circumstance, there's just us. And so as our leadership in Parliament and around the country, we're asking you to treat this matter as if it were your own children, because in reality it is. This is an us problem. Secondly, I want to speak to urgency. You know, we have a built-in ability as humans to sort of numb ourselves to certain things so we can get through the day. You can't focus on the worst things all the time, can you? But unfortunately, the risk behind that is that when we're numb to things that are really pressing and growing beneath the surface, we can realize too late and find ourselves in deep trouble. And this is the reality with this situation. We don't have time to wait for the next budget cycle or for more incidents to happen for us to drive action. We've got to move now, because increasingly across the country, no matter where we are, we're seeing incidents with knives and other violent weapons increasing across demographics in a very broad way. So we need to act now and with urgency. Thirdly, the solution. It's very easy to sit back and think, well, this is a police issue. We just need more police on the street. More enforcement is what we call it. And unfortunately, that's just a reaction to what's happening, and it won't stem the tide. It's just going to continue to wear down our Met resources, and they're already overwhelmed. To stop this problem long term, we've got to work in a preventative manner and proactively. And that means doing some of the work that Lainey talked about, working together with our organizations who have relationships with young people to stem the tide and help them see a broader perspective on life and change behavior and really adjust the setting, which is quite hostile for them right now. We've thrown our youngest generation into a world where they're impacted by social media, all kinds of messaging, and increasingly not able to have real human-to-human contact where they can learn. And that makes them very vulnerable. So the solution is not about more enforcement, although that's a part of it. The solution is about working together to create healthier settings for young people to be raised in and to grow in. Finally, I think to our politicians and our leadership, I know spending more money in this area is probably not the easiest thing you can vote for or take on. But we're going to appeal to you to reach down inside, because this requires courage. We're looking for people to look beyond personal issues and be the person to say, listen, I know this isn't comfortable or easy, but we know we have to take these steps today for a better tomorrow. And that takes courage, and we're appealing to you and the public to support that movement, because the greatest things in history have never come easily, and this one won't either. But we know if we work together, we can accomplish this. Thanks very much for your time. We look forward for your support.